So this is the cookbook that today's recipe comes from. Let's have a look inside. Now hopefully you can read this. It's an absolutely hilarious forward to this cookbook. I think this was a book that was given from mothers to daughters, because it was, in those days, it was considered only the distaff side of the family would be able to cook anything. So there was all these instructions, you know. They always keep referring to your daughter, your daughter, your daughter. So it's quite funny. So let's go and have a look at the recipe. So here's the recipe here for the almond shortbread. I've converted this into grams and mils, because all the recipes in this book are in ounces and pounds, and fluid ounces, which we don't use anymore. As you can see, this was a giant book with over 600 pages. Although the British weren't considered especially good at cooking, they were absolutely amazing at baking. Some of the cakes and the biscuits, the decoration, and these were standard things, decorating biscuits and things like that. So anyway, we'll delve more into this book later on as we do different recipes, but today we're just going to concentrate on the traditional almond shortbread. Right, and here we are with the ingredients and the baking tray, as you can see. So we've got flour, butter, almonds, sugar, castor sugar that is, and salt. That's it. Nothing more than that. And I'll give you a bit of a close-up of the baking dishes so that you can see the two sizes. So the recipe that you can see in the description box is for the larger tray. Today I'm just going to make a smaller batch, so I'm using the smaller tray, which is half the ingredients. So you can make whatever size batch you want. Firstly, measure out 170 grams of flour, and then pour that into a large bowl. Then measure 115 grams of butter, and then cut up your butter, put it in the flour. Now, best thing is, get your hands in there, because the warmth of your hands will actually help soften the butter even more. And then just rub this in until it resembles breadcrumbs. When you're about halfway there, you can add your almonds. So what I've done here is I've got some slithered almonds, and then I've put them in my food processor and given them a whiz until they resemble a fine powder. Then a small grind of salt, and then we'll measure out 60 grams of castor sugar, and then add that 60 grams of castor sugar into your mixture. Just stir this through so it's quite evenly distributed, and then continue to rub your butter into the mixture until we get that breadcrumb effect. Once you've got it to this point where it's actually starting to come together, this is when you can pour it into your baking tray. So we're nearly there now. As you can see, it's starting to clump together. So I'll line my baking tray with parchment paper, and then we'll do that. It's also a good idea to heat your oven to 180 degrees Celsius or 375 Fahrenheit. Right, that's the parchment paper all done, and let's just pour this beautiful crumbly mixture in. And we're going to just spread this as evenly as we can. Because we're going to press this down. So we want to get it as evenly distributed as we can. Some people will be more spatially aware than me for such a project. Right, now I have this item here, which I generally use for frying eggs and the like, but look how good it is at doing this. And sticking. You might have to actually put some parchment paper on the top of this to stop it from sticking when you're pressing down. That's not too bad at all. Right, this is ready to go into the oven once it's up to speed. It's not quite there yet. Right, I'm going to pop this into the oven. Right, that's been in the oven exactly 15 minutes. And as you can see, this is just starting to turn brown, which is ideal. Now before it does cool down, we're going to cut this to make it easier to separate these out into our shortbread. If you leave them till they harden up, they'll be almost impossible to cut. I'll come back when I've done them all. There we are, they're all cut up now. I'm going to leave them for about 10 to 15 minutes and then I'll turn them out onto a rack to cool properly and then we'll have a taste. Right, there they are, all out the oven. Let's have a wee taste of this. I love shortbread, but almond shortbread's even better. And because I got these out the oven just as they were turning brown, they've remained quite soft and chewy. Right. Thank you very much for watching this, and I will catch you on my next recipe. And if you're really lucky, when you come to the end of the recipe book, you'll find a secret recipe that your mother typed on a sheet of paper and glued to the inside back cover.